Welcome back. We are moving on to question number 10 now. Let's look at it together. Question number 10 says, which of the following statements is not correct? A. An amphoteric oxide exhibits both acid and basic properties. B. Metals ionized by electron loss and non-metals ionized by electron gain. C. In the electrolysis of concentrated sodium chloride, hydrogen is evolved at the anode. And D. Chlorine is an oxidizing agent. Now let's start analyzing the options one after the other. The first one says an amphoteric oxide. We all know that an amphoteric oxide, there is an oxide that behaves as an acid and a base, which means that it's an oxide that has the properties of an acid and also the properties of a base. So it means that for option A is correct. And remember, they said the option that is not correct. That is what we want to bring out of this option. Now, B. Metals ionized by electron loss and non-metals ionized by electron gain. We all know that all metals, they ionize by giving out electrons, which is the same thing as electron loss. While non-metals behave by gaining or collecting electrons, which means they gain electrons. So option B also is correct. Let's move on to option D. Chlorine is an oxidizing agent. We all know that chlorine is a very strong electronegative element, so which means is an oxidizing agent. So for option D, option D is also correct. Now let's move on to option C. Let's go back to option C. In the electrolysis of concentrated sodium chloride, hydrogen is evolved at the anode. Now let me quickly analyze that. Let's draw a rough sketch of the electrolysis of it, which is also the concentrated sodium chloride can also be called brine. Remember, then we have, let me make it shorter so that I will be able to draw the electrodes and the connection. We have something like this and this. Now this is our anode and this is the cathode. Anode is positively charged, cathode is negatively charged. Then we have sodium chloride, and remember, we also have water. So we have sodium chloride and water. When electricity is passed through it, sodium chloride is going to break down to Na plus and Cl minus. Then H2O, we will also have H plus OH minus, right? Remember, the electronegative elements will move to the anode, while the electropositive will move to the cathode, which means sodium will move down here and also hydrogen, while chlorine will move down here and also OH minus. So normally with even this diagram, you can see that in the electrolysis of concentrated sodium chloride, hydrogen is evolved at the anode. Anode is positively charged, so hydrogen cannot be evolved because hydrogen is also a positively charged element. So hydrogen will move to the cathode, and that is why we call it cation, while chlorine and OH minus will move to the anode. So definitely for this option C is not correct because hydrogen is a cation, so we move to the cathode. And also here, hydrogen will be deposited at the cathode. So the option C is not correct, which is also the best option for this question. Thank you.